There we go, fish on home. It doesn't look like it, but this is a pretty fierce current on this river, and yeah, that is a much nicer fish. Winter bank fishing, the patient man's game. In today's video, we're gonna be using medium paddle tails, schmedium paddle tails, some tubes, and a very special item I'm gonna get into after I get this skunk off my back that's gonna help us out a lot today. We're fishing in an area that's near and dear to my heart. I've showed it on this channel many, many times. We got a smaller river running right down here, and we have a creek coming through here. It forks right in this area. There's also an abundance of cover, and it's significantly deeper than the surrounding area. It tends to perform quite well in winter. Our water levels are very, very high for this time of year. We've had a fair amount of snow, actually, a good amount for Tennessee, and we've had some rain as well in the past couple weeks. So I've got to be thankful for the clarity of the water right now. I think it's actually going to help us out, this kind of added depth paired with that clarity. Bait wise, we're starting out with a 6 Sense Divine swim bait. This is a 2.7-inch little paddle tail right there, and we might very well switch it out if we don't get hit within the first few casts. I'm basically going to be chucking my bait out in this deeper pocket over this cover and hoping for the best this morning. It got down to 17 last night. We have a high of 31 today, so it's fairly chilly. It is sunny though. Got to be thankful for that wind. It's keeping my hands good fish. Awesome, man. It's keeping my hands good. Keep my hands from getting all cherried up and red and unusable. First fish, that is a great sign. That's why I chose this area today. Yeah, smaller largemouth. Well, this area does hold some bigger fish. I've caught 4 and 5 pounders out of it. We got to be thankful for this fella. It's probably what we're going to be working with a lot of these today. Maybe we'll get on a couple bigger ones. First fish, a beautiful little largemouth, and you feel warmer than the air, so I'm going to get you back in. Look at that little red eye. We have a very prominent red eye gene in this creek. Our spots, our smallies, and our largemouths tend to have it. Thanks for biting me, buddy. Don't tell your friends about me. So the little item I wanted to talk about today is this Burt's Bees chapstick. I've been using it a lot, and no, it's not a sponsor. I wish it was, kind of. I don't know. Maybe I'd get some use out of it. I typically avoid using chapstick. However, it's been very, very cold in my area lately. I've been dealing with a lot of ice on my guides. So I did a quick little internet search, found that you can rub this on your guides to prevent icing. I've been doing it, man, and the difference, it's absurd. It really, really works. Highly recommend it if you're a dude like me that's not used to dealing with ice on your guides. Awesome. I'd say the 3 most important factors being successful winter bank fishing: spot, bait, and patience. I'd say 75% of my spots are completely dead right now. I have a few areas that tend to hit better in winter, and that's what I stick to. Bait wise, I like something I can cover a ton of water with. So paddle tail, it's extremely versatile. There's an abundance of ways to rig this. If you need to go weedless, you absolutely can. You can slowly pop it in place. You can rip it through the water. You can twitch it like I like to do. You can cover a ton of water or cover a little bit of water. It's effective every which way. I like lipless crankbaits too. This area, we would lose it in a cast. And tubes as well, because you can swim them and pop them. Little Ned rigs are good too, if you know where those fish are. You're just trying to coax them into biting. And patience. It is just so much harder to catch these fish in winter. Conditions aren't nice. My hands are absolutely freezing right now. So while I do prefer a slower fall rate, I find that works a lot better come winter time. Right now I need to get as much distance as possible. That's why I opted for this 1/4 ounce jig head with the soft plastic on it. It's about the lightest I can go while still getting the distance I need. That's a fish. Kind of felt it bouncing. I wasn't sure if that was a branch out there or what. We're in for a good day out here today. Hopefully we can get some size. Like I mentioned, there's some big fish in here, but this is realistic winter fishing. The big ones are a lot harder to catch. Thanks for biting, buddy. So temps, let's talk about winter temperatures. I got a little pointer, little tidbit, little tip that maybe you haven't heard. Something that works well for me that I think people overlook sometimes. When you get a kind of a warm front rolling through and it stabilizes for a couple of days. So let's say we get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's around 45, upper 40s. The day that it drops, so we'll say Thursday, it's gonna drop down to 31. Getting out that day, immediately after that temperature drop, is usually very, very productive for me. I can typically find decent sized eaten fish. Now, I'm not a biologist, as I've mentioned before on this channel, so I don't know exactly why, if they want to get that, if they can sense that cold coming on, obviously if they can feel it in the top of the water column and they want to get that bait while it's still active out there. There's a fish. Or while they're still active. But it's worth trying out. It works for me year round, but especially in winter I found it works quite well. Beautiful fish. Another gorgeous one, man. We're just packing them on today. It's a very, very good morning. I haven't been out here all that long, maybe just over an hour now. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Thanks for biting, buddy. I love how clear it is being able to watch them swim off like that. The one thing I will say with this Burt's Bees method is that you do have to apply it a couple times. I can tell we're starting to get a little bit of ice right now. Yeah, that one. Kind of smash that back up on there. It's a lot better than not using it. I did see that you can use PAM, which I really don't want to PAM up my rods. It sounds like an absolute messy nightmare. And I saw that they make de-icing paste. If you guys have a suggestion, something that works a lot better than this, let me know. I would appreciate it. There we go, fish on home. Hey, that feels a little better. I can't tell. He's in the main current right now, but it feels bigger than the other ones we've been pulling. It doesn't look like it, but this is a pretty fierce current on this river. And yeah, that is a much nicer fish. All right, we're getting somewhere now. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They are so healthy, man. Whoa, feisty. So put me back in, I'm freezing. Well, that is what I'm talking about, my friends. I'm gonna get her back in really quick because it's cold, but just look at how thick and healthy that fish is. Absolutely beautiful. Now we're getting somewhere. This one's got a little more size to it. Coffee break. It's nectar of life. Take my coffee black. I have for a long time. My first job was at a Dunkin' Donuts when I was 16 years old. It was ran by 2 cops and a laundromat owner. All 3 were brothers. I absolutely enjoyed working there. Great experience. However, we had unlimited free coffee. I was just getting into coffee drinking at that age, and I liked it sweet. So I'd have unlimited access to the sugar, sweeteners, different flavors, and we'd make absolutely crazy concoctions. I overdid it one night. Put way too much sugar in my coffee. Had one of the worst migraines of my life. I'd say top 10 for sure. And I was never able to drink coffee with any sort of sugar, sweetener, or flavoring in it again. It's been black coffee ever since. I'm having a really hard time changing baits because this is just getting it done. Color-wise, I like naturals, so something like this, a minnow color, whites, pearls always work in almost every water condition that there is out there, and green pumpkins for clearer water. I don't really experiment too much come winter time. Maybe if I was working some really muddy stuff, I'd throw a black. But this water is just perfect for this kind of minnow coloring as well as some green pumpkin. That's why I brought those tubes, but I don't think we're gonna be able to get out to these fish checking that tube out. Not heavy enough for this rod. And my spinning gear can't really get out there. We're in trouble with that cast. We're right in front of that fallen log. I'm gonna kind of let the current work it out a little bit or hope we get picked up by a fish before I snag. Oh, okay, fish on. Feels decent. Then again, we just pulled him from way back there. Nah, it's not big. But it's a fish. All right, man. Crappie. So that's different. This is the first crappie I've ever caught out of this creek, and I've fished this area for years. That's absolutely wild. Well, there we go, guys. Something different. A white crappie. And a first for me. The first one I've ever pulled out of this stretch of river before. Beautiful one. Look at her. Well, thanks for biting, girl. And off she goes. I jumped around the area, tried to catch some fish out of the other stretch of this creek, and let me tell you, I can't. So we're going back to where I can pick them off left and right. It's funny how things work that way. You'd think if they're that active in that area, probably other spots around here that are good, but there's just not. So we're gonna change it really quick just to keep things interesting and throw on the old Super Fluke Junior, one of my favorite baits of all time. Larger profile. It's gonna get me a little deeper. We'll see if that makes any difference. I'd say we're getting maybe 5 to 7 feet further than we were with that smaller bait. Now that this is kind of dialed in. There we go. That didn't take long. And not much bigger. A little bigger than the last couple dinks. But they want that fluke too. Beautiful. Well, I'd say that's about the same size. All these fish are the same size today. But we're thankful for them. Thought I had busted an eyelet out of here. It's just a little chunk of ice. All right, everybody. Well, I'm fixing to head out. Well, we're gonna catch one on the tube real quick before I do. It's gonna be harder, but it can be done. I really don't have the casting distance with the spinning rod, nor the gear ratio to keep this bait where I want it. But if I place it just right, might be able to pick up a fish. Yep, there we go. How about that? They wanted something a little different. Come on, everybody. Didn't expect that to happen so quickly. I guess we can give it another shot, another cast. Beautiful, tiny, smallest fish of the day. But you ate something different, so I give you credit for that. Hit it right on the fall. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this one. As always, if you did, drop a like, consider subscribing. It really helps push the channel. Now let's get into these baits. So the all-star of the video was the Divine Swim Bait by 6 Cents. Here's a look at its packaging. I did pop them all out. They're sitting in a little plastic baggie right now because it's easier for me to work that. I can stuff that in my pack. I don't have to worry about this kind of awkward packaging. Got that boy Mars in the house. What's up, Marsy Mars? How you doing, buddy? You just want attention, don't you? Needs the pets, man. Jumped up here as soon as I started recording. Now he's like moaning and stuff. He almost talks like a husky. It's pretty funny. He's an Australian Shepherd. Anyhow, guys, back to the bait. So the color is True Shad. I like this color a lot. It's very, very subtle. It just gets it done in that creek. Kind of a natural minnowy looking color. It does have some flash to it. There's some gold flakes in the back. Now I like that 2.7 inch size, that smaller profile when I am working tougher conditions, especially that creek. It does really, really well there. Weight wise, we're sitting somewhere in the ballpark of 2.42 grams. You pair that 1/4 ounce jig head I was working it on, you're sitting somewhere in the ballpark of 8.46 grams. Now these plastics do vary from pour to pour weight wise. That's why they don't stamp it on the packaging. Fraction of a gram here or there, but when I threw it on the scale, those are the numbers I got, so that's what we'll stick with for today's video. So pairing this, I'd say 1/8 ounce jig head is the all around best weight to work the bait on. I needed to get out there though, so I paired it with the 1/4 ounce. I have done that a lot with this bait. It doesn't take away too much from it, but you are gonna get a little reduction in your tail wobble working that on the heavier weight. However, if you're unfamiliar with rigging one of these on a jig head, if it's your first time seeing this done, which I highly doubt, however, if you are new to fishing and you somehow came across this video, this is how you do it. You simply stick the head, stick the point of the hook in the nose of that bait, and you're gonna pop it through right at that bend. Fix on your jig head, and you're sitting somewhere like this. Now I do use cheap jig heads. I'm not catching 10 pounders out there. As you could see, I knew kind of what to expect, so these work just fine. These are Eagle Claws. I think I was using the big bite baits though. Anyhow, guys, all around great bait. Durability wise, it's just there. 6th Sense really got it right with this one. I'm a big fan, I gotta say. Now the other baits I used, I'm not gonna go too deep into them. Obviously I wanted to focus on this bait. However, I will show them off real quick. We caught one on that Strike King Bitsy tube. Now I'm a big fan of this bait. It's one of my go-to summer lures. Really year round it gets it done. I couldn't quite get it out as far as I needed to with the gear that I planned on throwing it on. I was kind of hoping those fish would be sitting a little closer, or the water would be a bit lower and I'd be able to get out there with this bait, but I wasn't able to. We managed to get one on it though. All around great bait. It's a 2.75 inch bait. It is the Strike King Bitsy tube. I will list the names, weights, the tackle I used, as well as the rods in the description if you are curious about that and you want to check it out. Last but not least, we had the Zoom Swim-In Super Fluid Junior. This is one of my go-to baits. I think if I would have thrown this as much as I threw this, I'd probably have caught similar numbers on it. However, I did really focus on that smaller size for this video. All around great bait here too. The color is White Ice. Big fan of this one. I've caught a lot of fish on it. Now, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Again, I had a great time making this one. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. I hope y'all are staying safe, staying warm, and getting a lot of fish out, my friends. Peace.